All right, what's going on, Blockcircle traders? Hope you guys have all been having a great week so far. You know the drill. We're gonna do a top-down analysis here on BTC. We'll talk overall thoughts on the market, maybe take a look at stocks, maybe look at the dollar index, stuff like that. There's a lot of coins that I think are actually worth looking at right now. Although we know they're all gonna end up going the same direction as Bitcoin, anyways. But we'll definitely look at some centralized exchange coins, and then I'll go talk about a few low caps that I like, and we'll try not to keep you guys here too long. All right, so let's go ahead and dive on in here. I'm using Brave New Coins Liquid Index. This is the chart with the most history on Bitcoin. We actually go all the way back to 2010. So I like to use this when I'm doing long-term analysis, but just note it's always like a day behind. So you'll see that it hasn't recognized the monthly candle is closed yet. So when I zoom in, I'll go to Bitstamp because it's about as much history, but I like to use as much as possible when I'm really giving some serious long-term analysis. So anyways, monthly is starting to look really good. I don't really like all the overhead as far as these curling bands go, but we've got the trifecta. All right, we closed above the 8 EMA. We got not just one, but two swing setups on this candle. We have our monthly slow stochastic coming up, and I'm not sure if it'll show here. It does. We have our first uptick in momentum since $70,000 Bitcoin, November 2021. So is it the end of the bear market? Whatever, we want to use labels and stuff. I don't know. It's definitely the start of a new uptrend, and it's not something I really care to fade. So you're not really going to catch me going super heavy on the short side or anything anymore. I haven't decided just yet if I'm going to send back some money from the bank. I've been really good since like April, March about not took a lot out and have not sent it back. Missed the top, whatever. But, now that we're back above the 8 EMA, I mean, things are starting to look really, really solid. But I think I'll wait, see how this next month closes out, see if we can keep that trend going, because I'm going to talk about a few ideas I have for where we could be headed next, and they're not all great. So I kind of want everything to be looking really, really solid before I recommit funds that I've already cashed out. I don't know. It feels like a curse. It's kind of like I had a big spell trade back in 2021. Probably will never trade that again. Even if it's going to go up crazy, has good setups, I don't really care because I made good money on it. I don't feel like going back to it, which is kind of a ridiculous outlook. Like, I'm not that way on everything. Like, Bitcoin obviously makes some money on Bitcoin. Still going to come back, but that crazy stuff, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to bid it again. It feels like I'm going to mess it up. Anyways, I'm just rambling here, but monthly looks really good. I actually am going to use Bitstamp. I want to have the close. So we've got all of our indicators lining up. We've got, oh my gosh, is there any way to hide alerts? I'm not even on Bitstamp. There we go. And we'll just get rid of this one. All right, so we've got the trifecta. We've got a bullish engulfing setup above the 8 EMA. We've got a rising cycle, and we've got rising momentum. I'm trying to get involved on any dips on lower time frames that I can. And ideally, from here on out, we will hold this 8 EMA as support. Now, it doesn't mean, you got to be, real uptight about it, right? Monthly 8, we can always look over here, this teal number, to see exactly where it is. And right now, it's at 22,910. That doesn't mean we're going to be starting to short out our asses if it goes to 22,800, It's really just an area, right? We want to see price maintaining support in this general region, right? And especially if it's early in the month, we could see a deviation all the way down, even like below 20K possibly. But we really like to stay above that. And then if we get back below it, we got to be really cautious. To even get back below it, we'll have to have a new downtrend on the 4-hour and the daily. So, we'll talk about that if that's what we get, right? If that's what we get, then I guess we'll just talk about it now. Ideally, this will just maintain an uptrend somewhere in this general region, and ideally take us towards 30K, which is really the next big test. All this previous higher low region could turn into resistance, or it could end up being just like 6K and we just rip right through it. Who really knows? But that's the most ideal scenario. Obviously, a lot of us would like this to pump out of here. A lot of people would like a little pullback first. I get that, but most people don't want the third option, which is pretty much a nuke back to like 16K. Okay, and I think either we retest and hold somewhere near 20, maybe a little under 20, or we just gap all the way down to 16K. I'm not really sure there's going to be really any in between there. But if that's what happens, then we'll wait for the downtrend on the daily to resolve itself and ideally form some kind of a higher low in here. And then we can take that into halving in 2024 and run with it. So that's kind of the more bearish outlook I have. I mean, obviously we could make new lows, right? This could all be a big scam. I don't really think that's that likely. But you know, we can still talk about that. But for now, everything's shaping up really nicely. The weekly is getting a little bit close to a really key pivot. So if you happen to catch some nice swings in here, you know, we've had some pretty good altcoin moves, some 20%, 50%, 100% gains, and then a few of them like Aptos and I don't know off the top of my head, a handful of other ones are up, you know, 3 to 4x. Definitely want to look to shave some of that stuff off in here if you haven't done so yet. I think there's a decent chance that we roll over here and at least clip back towards this weekly 8 EMA, something like this, and then we'll pop higher in the spring. I don't know. We're just speculating here, but that's definitely a zone of resistance to watch out for. Again, not really going to be active personally on the short side unless I have a lot of like longs open or something. I want to hedge that, but yeah, definitely something to watch out for. And then see if we can't, you know, maybe take some profits up here, see if we can rebid this 8 EMA, because already people are starting to chase. I even feel like I'm starting to chase some of these daily closes. I mean, they're just ridiculous, but they look so good. And people are going to keep chasing all the way up through these highs, all the way up into the bands. And I'm expecting something pretty sharp off there, back towards this 8 EMA. And likely that'll be another dip to buy. So going into the technicals here, the weekly cycle looks fine, still going up, not quite overbought yet. And again, we don't always use overbought as like a, you know, a sell signal, right? We want to see it come up and cross down and line that up with a breakdown on the 4 hour with momentum rolling over, stuff like that, to really give us a signal that things are starting to, you know, the fun's starting to slow down. But for now, momentum's rising. Not quite as exuberant as 2019 just yet. Let's see, we're at about, we're right around 100. So that lines up pretty well with the first big lower high here at 8K. And then we had the, what's it called? The Bitstamp scam or whatever. And then we did the final blow off top. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here, right? Do something like this. I don't know if there's going to be a scam or a hack or anything, but cool down and then a big pop up rally and then probably some consolidation after that to finish off the year. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I think is most likely to happen. But you know, you never really know, right? We'll just follow whatever does happen. So for now, the plan is to keep buying dips. Anything back towards 21K, 21.5, low 20s, even down to like 19.5. I think it's all fair game. We just got to be careful, depending on how far we go. If we start to make some key pivots, like even right now, this is already starting to become a key pivot. So while it'd be nice to, you know, run the stops, right? Run it back here. I mean, that'd be nice and all. But then you're going to have a new downtrend if that happens. And, you know, maybe we just run the stops and then get right out of it. That'd be nice and all. But I don't think we really want, as much as it'd be nice to get a deep pullback, I don't think we really want another nasty downtrend, because then we're just back in the range down there, right? And, you know, that's full of fake outs too. Like, oh, here we go. We're in a downtrend. Oh, breakout. Not. Right? And then, oh, big breakout. Not. I mean, I'd rather deal with this nice trending market, have to chase a little bit, than go back to a scam range market until, you know, September or something. Like, just kill me. But anyways, for now, I want to see how we interact around Pi. You're basically going to see this same setup on every altcoin that we're going to look at later. Big nuke 2 days ago, slow recovery, big recovery today. And this is one of the most common like bullish setups out there. I'm not going to say it's 100% win rate or anything, but a big giant red candle, and then, you know, a stall, and then a big giant green candle that goes basically all the way back to the highs. 9 times out of 10, that's a buy signal. I can't remember exactly what it's called. There's a name for it in traditional markets, but that's a really common buy signal that has a pretty high win rate. So you're seeing this, I mean, on pretty much everything you pull up. You know, pull up Blue Trade. There it is right there. I'm sure even Ripple's got it, right? 0x. And some of them, the ones that are weaker here, that have only retraced maybe half of this candle, maybe that's the stuff that you hedge if you're looking to, you know, if we get a little exuberant here, Bitcoin goes to 25K, maybe this stuff doesn't make new highs while other alts do. Maybe that's the stuff to short if you're about that. You know, pairs trading and all that stuff. But the flip side of that is, what if they're just the laggers? And, you know, you'll see that on a lot of low caps. Like right now, I've got some low cap bags that look pretty good, but I don't think the money's really going to flow there outside of, you know, strictly narrative driven stuff. I don't think the money's going to flow there until a lot of this high cap stuff is done ripping. And so, you know, when you're trying to short stuff like this, that is what's the word? Underperforming. Just keep in mind, it might be just lagging behind the trend and it might be playing catch up, or maybe it's lagging because it's garbage, right? But anyways, the ones that I like the most are the ones that have fully retraced in this candle, this big dump from 2 days ago, right? Atom, great example, retraced it, also went to new highs. Avax, great example, fully retraced it, moving higher now. Axes, weak. Alpha, really weak. Algo, meh, looks okay. Cardano looks fine. Aave looks good. Fully retraced it and closed above it. Aptos still looks fine. I mean, it's whatever. Balancer looks okay. BNB looks pretty good. Right, if it can ever get above this darn 320 pivot. Curve looks really good. I had a bid for Curve down to like the 80s. I really thought we might break down aggressively today, but no shot. Doge looks really good. Had a super clean kind of ascending triangle here. Now we're breaking out and retesting it. Weekly's got a lot of room to run on Doge. I wonder how Doge BTC look. I don't look at BTC pairs anymore, but honestly, they can really tell you a lot about something. I mean, look at that. That's actually crazy. I need to look at some more BTC charts. This is nuts. Since 2021, such a defined, strong downtrend. No closes above the bands, and then boom, huge move. I don't even remember why or what this was about. And then it tried to hold the 8, boom, stops out all the late longers, slowly bores everyone to death. Now we've got a weekly cycle low. Do we have an uptake in momentum? Not quite, not yet. Next month, maybe. Or next week, maybe, but coming all the way back to the bands here, probably right around perfect hold of pi on the daily for Doge BTC. Damn, they're really bad to have me ape in Doge. And you know, Doge likes to run pretty early on in the cycles. Damn, are they really bad to have me do that? Anyways, focusing too long on one, but maybe we'll come back to Doge. I think this looks really solid, but anyways, whole point I was trying to make is this is the setup you want to see, right? A full retrace of this nuke from 2 days back. That's what we got on BTC. So I would not be surprised to see follow through now. Bouncing around a lot here. I think we're pretty much done on the weekly. Big notes on the weekly. Still plenty of room to run on the indicators, but we got to be careful coming into 25, 26K because that's where the bands are at on the weekly. And I would not be surprised to see that act as resistance at least once. You know, pause in here and then retest down, you know, 22K or something. Depends on how long we stay there. This 8 email will rise up. Anyways, going into the daily, like I said, normally I want to be kind of cautious around pi. But, you know, everything's looking pretty good. Momentum's trying to come back up. Cycle's coming back up. We got that beautiful candle set up. I don't know. I mean, I really do want to see acceptance above here, though, right? Like, this is, you know, failing here would be pretty gross. That's another reason I'm saying I don't really want to break down here, because it's just going to look gross, right? It's probably going to happen really quickly. Similar to, it honestly reminds me kind of like this. back in like DeFi summer. This like slow grind up, right? And then we had this one big attempt at a breakout, which looked really good on paper, and then we just failed. So that would be like getting above pi and then back below pi, and then doing some shit like this, and then in like 2 days we just nuke. And then we go sideways for a month. This was like honestly the best case outcome. I thought back then this was gonna do something like this, genuinely. And then that was invalidated over here. Went long, not a big deal. But this is exactly what I could see playing out again here at pi. Something like this. Follow through from this move. Stall out. Nuke. Reclaim the range. Bore people to tears. And then just, boom, dump it back to 20K or something. I could definitely see something like that happen. So again, if you guys have been in, I mean, obviously from here, but if you've been in from this little reaccumulation, or even just, some altcoins have had good moves just in this little cool down period here. If we make a new high, I would highly consider being kind of aggressive with your profit taking. It all depends on your overall setup, and that's one big thing you guys got to remind yourselves. If you're one to, take my advice and just kind of follow along with it, you got to make sure if you're doing something like that, that it follows your plan. I got a lot of long-term vested bags, like seed sales and stuff like that I'm not going to be getting tokens until later this year into next year. So long-term, I feel solid in my exposure, so I don't mind if I, only got 2 perp positions open and then we make a new high, close them out, only a couple of spot bags, don't really care. Long-term, the vision's still clear for me. But if it's different for you, maybe you've only got a couple positions open from the lows, then maybe you're trailing those out. Maybe you're not being super aggressive on your profit taking if that's your only exposure to crypto. And you guys know me, I do not like to ever go flat on crypto. You just never know what it's going to do, and you don't want to be getting super emotional about it if you can help it. So I always try to keep some exposure. But, if you got some long-term bags and you're also trading some leverage positions in here and here, I think you definitely want to get aggressive on profit taking, at least on the first test of this region. I mean, I guess we could just blow right through it. Sure, that's obviously sometimes Bitcoin just does that. But I think it's more likely that we pop up, consolidate. Maybe we hold above pi and then continue. I could see that happening, but I'd be surprised if we just blew through it all the way to like 30K in one go. So I think the plan is take some profits up here and then see if you can catch the bands as they kind of rise up into this previous support here. So we'll see if that happens. It's all just kind of speculation, right? Just follow the rules. Take profits on new highs, right? First impulse, you get a couple candles in your favor, take some profits. Reaccumulate, boom, you get another one, take some more profits, right? And just keep it simple. And then ideally, whether it's after a push up here, we get a pullback or something, or if we got to sit through something a little bit grosser, if we break down here and then we chop around down here, whatever. At some point, I definitely want to get long this stuff that has been having a really good couple of months, like Aptos, Optimism. This stuff could keep going in the near term for sure, but it's likely going to have a multi-month cooldown period when it finally reaches its first stopping point. Kind of like Ethereum back in, I think I have it over here. I don't. Kind of like Ethereum back in 2017 is a good example off the top of my head. Like this, right? So you have, I mean, honestly, there's a couple good examples here. Even just this, when ETH ran from like $10 to $40, $50, that's basically what Aptos has just done. New all-time highs. It'll probably do this for a while. A month, 2 months, something like that. That's the accumulation that I'm waiting for. I'm accepting that on stuff like that. I mean, I'll still try and catch a day trade on it every now and then. Like I was in Optimism earlier, but took the break even. But I'll still try and catch it on the way up. But I'm pretty much accepting I'm not going to hit some big setup. Other than maybe a lower time frame continuation thing. I'm not going to get something big until it consolidates for a while. Whether it's here or whether it's on the weekly, something like this. This is the same pattern as this, just over a couple weeks or a couple months, excuse me. Sorry, I had to sneeze. That's basically what I'm looking for on some of this stuff like Aptos. And I just say Aptos because that's like the first one that comes to mind as really kicking ass right now. But, you know, there's a handful of others too. Like, let's say it, you know, the daily bands start to rise up. This pops up to, I don't know, $50. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable shitcoin target for something like this. $50. And then it nukes to 30, you know, like this or whatever. And then it goes sideways. Maybe it does some fuckery, pardon my language. And then reclaims these levels. You know, what, that could be 2-3 months to do that. But those are the kind of opportunities that we're going to be looking for, right? And then even more so if Bitcoin ends up doing this kind of route, right? If it does something like this, then maybe we slow down even sooner. And then, you know, you would just have that happening in this range, right? Somewhere in here. So I don't really know what I'm most hopeful for. I mean, I'd be okay with that, with some consolidation after such a crazy month. I didn't really capitalize anywhere near as well as I probably could have this month, but, you know, I'd still be all right with some consolidation. But at the same time, I mean, these continuation setups look really juicy. You know, I bought some Woo trade today, right? Held really nicely in the bands area here. Oh, wrong exchange. Well, I always chart on the actual Woo trade exchange, but you don't get that much history. But Huobi's kind of weird because their daily closes are at noon in the US, so it's kind of awkward. But anyways, once Woo gets back through Pi, I mean, this thing is going to absolutely lift off. It's already kind of done an angular breakout, if you guys are about that. It's done an EMA breakout. Now we just got to get above the weekly bands and Pi on the daily, and things are looking pretty good. I mean, I would not be surprised to see this trading back towards 50 cents at some point this year. So yeah, I bought some Woo into daily demand. We'll see if we get the follow through in the coming weeks. I think sometime in February we'll get the follow through. It might be a little bit choppy at first, but I think come the end of the month, I think we'll be pushing towards 25 cents, something like that. Anyways, not much more to say on BTC. If I keep going like this, I'm just going to be rambling and rambling. So most important things here on the daily, guys. We got a fresh cycle coming up. We got fresh momentum building, and we're still trending above the 8 EMA on the daily. So as long as that continues, I don't see any reason not to be near-term bullish. If we make new highs, great. Time to take some profits. Keep trailing your positions, whether you're in from here or here or here or here. Definitely keep a piece that you're trailing out, especially if you're not long, like other spot coins and stuff like that. Because, you know, as crazy as it might seem to repeat something like we just saw, I mean, it's Bitcoin, though. Like, we don't know. We could be at 30K in a month, in less than a month. We really could. I don't genuinely think it's going to go that way. But, you know, I just remember all too well in 2019. Oh, he's referencing 2019 again, guys. In 2019, that's exactly how it felt, right? Everyone wanted this pullback. And then we rocketed up, and then everyone wanted the pullback to here. And then it nuked down during that big scam, made new highs. Great. Can't wait for the pullback to here. And that just never really happened, right? It was really just this like upwards accumulation all the way throughout, just higher lows, and just kept going, right? And so that could certainly happen again. So, you know, if you're getting some crazy gains on your trades here, obviously you want to take profits. Here's another great example of what I'm talking about. First push above Pi, immediately rejected. That is what I think is going to happen at some point this month. We're going to push above to 24, 25K, and then nuke back to like 22. So definitely watch out for that. But anyways, if you guys are in good positions here, I'm not saying don't take profits, but if you could trail something out from the level we're at now, you know, all the way to the top being in. I'm not saying your trailing stop is going to be at the top, but after the top is in, if you do a proper trailing stop, then yeah, for sure. So keep that in mind. We haven't really had any time to form a serious trailing stop high or low, but, you know, just keeping it simple for now. Even just something like this, right? You know, like especially if we just push up here and then nuke and then form higher lows and push up, and then everyone keeps waiting for that big, you know, the bear market's going to continue, but then it just makes another higher low. You know, you don't know how far you could be trailing this quote late entry at 24K or whatever, right? Like it feels late because it's pumped so much, but if we really go back into bull craze mode, then you could trail something like this out all the way to 40K for all we know. So don't be afraid to be greedy. I'm not saying you got to trail 50% of your position, but 10%, 20% trail something out, right? And then compound it, right? If you buy some here and you take 80% off on this push up and you're trailing out the rest with this higher low, boom, you buy again. You do the same thing, and then you trail out this position too, and now you're compounding these two on each other, and then it does it again. Obviously, it's not going to be this clean every time, but that's the idea, right? Then you buy again, and you're trailing out all three of these, and all of a sudden you got a big trailing stop position, but you're also responsibly taking profits in the new highs. So do not underestimate the power of compounding, folks. But yeah, here I am. Here, look, I'm doing it again. I'm starting to ramble. But let me do the key takeaways again, so I don't lose my train of thought. If we get above pi, take some profits. Watch for this heavy reversion, which personally I'll be bidding, especially if we don't close below 22.5. If we close below there, I think it's a bid into the daily bands, but we just got to be a bit more cautious because we're gonna have a fresh 4-hour downtrend at that point. We're gonna have an intermediate term downtrend too here in the daily, so. Definitely want to be a bit more cautious if that happens. If you see some altcoins you like go into a key level, all right, I get it. Personally, I might be nibbling on some low caps that I'm going to have up here, like Revest. If we get a big nuke, that's going to go back to like a few $1 million market cap. At that point, I don't mind bidding here if we're going to go back down here for a bit because that stuff is already going to be at a value I'm okay holding basically to zero. So, yeah, that's the game plan. TP on the upside here in the short term. Trail out some in case we just rip all the way to 30K. Don't think it'll happen, but maybe. Look to rebid the general range we've been in here, 22.5 to like 23.2-ish if we rip up in the nuke. And then basically just continue accumulating higher lows in here and looking for higher highs. That's the game plan now. And then if we break down, we'll talk about how we want to handle that when that comes. But for now, yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. And that same game plan is going to apply to all the altcoins we look at. Ethereum as well. Almost no reason to even talk about it. It's doing the exact same thing as BTC. Do I have a better exchange? Here we go. You can see it's coming right in on Pi. Once we get through that, then it'll be smooth sailing again. For now, same as BTC. Take profits on that first push up probably. I think we're going to nuke after that. Keep on accumulating the higher lows, and eventually I think we'll just push towards 2,000. I don't know if it'll happen this month or not, but definitely could. And so, yeah, I can look at some other coins here. There's a lot that look really good, but you'll see they also look very similar to Ethereum, which looks very similar to Bitcoin, right? It's all kind of the same trade, Well, there's a word for it, beta or whatever, like. It's all just kind of moving with each other. And of course, there's the outliers that are going to move on their own sometimes, like DYDX had a really good day when most stuff is still just kind of going sideways. Same for Optimism today, right? This is the stuff you'd really rather be long. And I'm not saying long in the new high by any means, but if we get a nice little complex pullback here on the 1 hour, 4 hour downtrend, and then that downtrend turns into a new uptrend, right? Then I think that's something to be getting long. Basically the same way you did here. So definitely want to keep your eyes on, right? Matic looks super good. What was the other one? Optimism, Matic, not Lido. Oh, it was Avax. Avax also looks really good. And Avax, unlike a lot of coins, still has a ways to go before hitting Pi on the daily. So I think this is one that's actually going to be playing catch up because it's from a moving average standpoint, it's a lot lower than other coins, but its price action is not as crap. Like, you didn't have just this little tiny reclaim like you had on something. What had a really bad reclaim today? Lunacy probably did. Yeah, like Lunacy, where it's just like, meh, didn't really do much. You still had a really strong close, but there's a nice gap. That's at least, what, 20%? 25% at the Pi. That's a pretty nice pop. So I think that's one to keep your eyes on for sure if you're going to be day trading around. Avax, Optimism, Matic, Atom. Atom also looks really good. It's really nice to see these like rising wedges into a lower high region just get obliterated by these massive candles. So that's very confidence inspiring. I don't think there's anything else on my main list that looks curve. Curve looks really good. Not quite as good as some of the breakout ones, but definitely one that I'd like to be involved in if we could get some kind of triangle after breaking through pi or something like that. I know Curve USD is supposedly supposed to be coming this year, right? Just like Dopex USD was supposed to be coming a year ago. But we'll see. Anyways, those are the main... I'm not trying to like not exert myself, but I'm not trying to have too many coins that I'm watching at once, you know? Like most of these coins I don't even really need here because I don't really trade them, but I'm mainly looking to be involved, at least on the perp side of things, in Optimism, Matic, maybe Lido. I don't feel like it recovered that well, but you know, it's not bad. It's no worse than most other stuff. Optimism, Matic, Lido, Avax, Atom, you know, DYDX. That's about it. And Wu Trade. Like no more than 10 coins that I'm really watching on a centralized exchange at a time. Like I don't really like back in the day, some of my old lists that I got here, I mean, well, look at this one, Huobi shitcoins, watching 100. Binance, watching 200 pairs. Like it just doesn't really do me any good. It's kind of like just over informing me. Like, I don't like it. So I'm really trying just to stick with a few right now, you know, kind of like the new majors. You know, it used to be like Litecoin, XRP, Ethereum, those were all the majors, and now like Dash and stuff like that. But now it's kind of like all these new layer ones and stuff. That's kind of the new majors in my mind. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, we're pushing up. We're pushing up. If you guys have any questions about Bitcoin or any of these kind of high caps, feel free to reach out to me. The game plan for Bitcoin is the same game plan for altcoins, right? Like Optimism, you know, I think Bitcoin pushes 25K soon, you know, so this probably extends up. And then I think we pull back a little bit, reaccumulate before further continuation. What you want to watch out for is these higher lows. If we do retrace, we put in some lower highs, and we crush those lows, I think we want to start being really cautious. Because, you know, we don't want to see it, but this could be a completed move on its own. Usually you don't really see like this kind of nice reaccumulation going on. Usually, I mean, it ends up just looking like this, right? That's usually how it tops. Not in this beautiful sideways. It just tops, right? You know, it just goes up massively, and then it just makes a lower high and just comes down. And that's kind of the end of it. So, you know, look at that. Like, that's the kind of structure you're going to see when this shit's over versus just reaccumulating. But anyways, enough of that. I do want to talk about just a couple low cap projects that I'm really liking. Let's see. One of which I'm already in, Amplify, and then Revest, which I was in for a long time, and then I kind of puked it for small gains on the lows. So looking to reaccumulate that soon. But yeah, oh yeah, that's another one I want to look at. Also GMX. So this is the only other real high cap I'm gonna look at after this. Oh my gosh, almost $70. What was that? Anyways, GMX, I mean, we were talking about this the last couple of videos and streams in the 40s, 50s that it's probably going to make new highs soon, and here we are. Again, I think this is a $100, $200 coin. Like, I fully expect after a year of consolidation in this range that this is going to see some pretty crazy upsides, you know, maybe even upwards of 220, something like that. So definitely one to be long. I've got a position locked in the escrow GMX that I've had there for, I don't know, at least a year now, I feel like. So I'm basically just holding that long term. I think once I'm constantly earning rewards, you know, Avax and, what is it? It's Avax and, is it am I earning GMX or? Jack, it's, oh no, I'm getting more ESGMX, which is more GMX in theory, and then more Avax, because I'm staked on Avax, but I think I don't know what they pay you when you're staked on Arbitrum. I can't quite remember. But anyways, I have a position in this long term. I'm very confident in the success of this, as I'm very confident in the success of Arbitrum as a whole. So yeah, this has actually become one of my biggest positions now. So very excited to see how this plays out. As far as new longs, I mean, buying new all-time highs is actually a pretty high win rate strategy, to tell you the truth. So I could totally see this just accumulating here short term and then just keeping on going. If we don't just keep on going today with Bitcoin take it off. So I think this is on Binance, right? Yeah, nice. Man, I should have had this on my watch list over here. What am I doing? But anyways, this looks super strong. I mean, like I said, this is exactly what you want to see from a coin you're invested in, right? Perfect hold of the bands, nice setup, higher low, another setup, new highs immediately. Absolutely beautiful. You know, first real upside target on this, I guess, would be like 75. I don't know. It seems kind of small for how big of an exchange it is, but anyways, this looks really great. I would be happy to buy really any higher lows on this one. It looks like it's just starting to take off. I mean, these kind of moves are not that much. It's kind of retracing every move it makes, honestly. Like, I want to see some real expansion. I want to see some darn Digibyte 2017 expansion. Oh, they don't even have it, do they? Bitrex, you suck. Ooh, wait. Poloniex probably delisted it. Damn. What's another one? XLM. That's another one. Oh, come on. Ah. I'm dedicated right now, so I'm gonna pull this up even if it takes me 20 minutes. No, they don't have it. Oh wait, it's because it was. Yes, it was stellar back then. Nice. Yeah, give me some expansion like these things used to do. I mean, these were crazy moves, right? This is how GMX feels right now. Literally exactly the same. Range bound for an entire year. Higher high, nuke. Higher high, nuke. Like retracing every pattern. And then you get a big move. I mean, look at this. This went from 0.02 or whatever to 0.04. I mean, that's a 2x, 3x. And then it literally just took off like crazy, right? You know, went up. After the crazy 3x, it went up 20x and then retraced and then went up another 70x. That's the kind of move I want to see from GMX, right? I mean, so hopefully you guys can see the similarities in structure. I mean, and it's not that hard, right, between that and this. So I want to see this go on a crazy run. Until then, I'm really not touching it. I'm taking all my new escrow GMX and I'm keeping it escrowed. And maybe, you know, the end of this year, I'll de-escrow it. And then the end of next year, hopefully I can cash it out come the end of the bull run. God willing. But yeah, GMX, super solid. Easily my favorite project on Arbitrum. Dopex, another one I think is pretty severely undervalued. I mean, this project offers a lot. And I mean, it is just dying to break above these range highs here. Like, once this pops 360, I mean, it's just going to fly straight to 600, I think. So, I'm hoping to get in this soon. I mean, I really should just get in right now. Our DPX is already leading the way, I believe. Yeah, like, this stuff is just going to fly. I mean, I don't know why I haven't bought yet. I've just been so cautious with my cash, dude. Every time I get back a little bit, it makes me so pansy, dude. But, anyways, yeah. So, this also looks super good. Not quite as strong as GMX, obviously making new highs, but I think it is setting up for a really good, at least, you know, at least a 2x on this stuff, right? On RDPX, on Dopex, thinking at least a 2x. Some of the other small caps too are already starting to do this. Plutus Dow had a really good day today. I still have a small moon bag of this, and I got some stuff locked up on their platform that's farming, please. So already looks good. I mean, this has probably got another 20-30% in it at least. It's only $5 million market cap too, so who knows? These things could 2x, 3x out of nowhere. Jones also looks pretty good. Kind of like Dopex, just hugging the line of a breakout. Oh, I mean, it looks so perfect, right? Can it really be that easy? I don't know, but it sure looks perfect. Looks like a breakout to new local highs. Nice sideways accumulation. Bullish engulfing setup. New highs incoming. That's what it looks like for me. So yeah, those are my favorite Arbitrum bags. GMX, Dopex, RDPX, Jones, Plutus. I mean, there's some other new stuff on there too, like Camelot. I think Camelot's been going pretty hard. XCal was pretty much a complete flop, but maybe that'll still pump someday. Grail looks really good. Any kind of reaccumulation going on in like the mid 300 range, I think is worth buying this. You know, if we keep pushing up, then you know maybe mid low 400s. Still only $40 million, and I think this is becoming one of the biggest exchanges on Arbitrum, isn't it? I think so. So definitely want to get involved on this one. It looks like XCal was a big loser and Grail's the big winner. So if you're gonna try and be that person who's going for DEX plays on Arbitrum, I think this is your only real option. I don't know anything else that's big there other than Sushi Swap and Uniswap. So yeah, Dopex stuff, you know, Jones, Plutus, and then Grail looks pretty good. I think Hamachi's decent. I haven't done any fundamental research on this one though, so I don't know. I mean, the chart obviously looks damn good. I don't know if this is like a super legit or anything, but the chart looks great. Only $5 million market cap. I mean, there's a lot of good low caps on Arbitrum still, if you guys are looking to get involved there. Anyways, yeah, all I really have Arbitrum exposure wise is just the GMX position. Other than that, I'm kind of just trying to be patient. I mean, maybe we just rip out of here and leave me behind, but I've got enough long-term stuff that, again, I'm not really stressing about that. So next project that I'm really excited about, and probably my favorite low cap right now, definitely one of my favorite low caps, is Amplify. Now, I kind of botched myself. I memed myself into a locked position of this back in August last year. I had not going to suck my own or anything, but I had a super clean entry at like 25 down here. And then it went up 10x in like 2 weeks. I mean, I could not believe it. Why couldn't I believe it? Well, because my dumbass not only bought my position, but I locked it up. You know, I memed myself into locking it up, which I think will be a good decision long-term because for sure, I mean, I would have been out on this candle. Still would have been great gains, but I know myself, I would have probably puked 80% of the position there, and I would probably forget about it. But now, I'm locked up for the long term. But anyways, enough memeing about it. I'm actually really excited about this project. That was definitely kind of a whiff. You know, I was not expecting 1,000% gains on this. I thought maybe it'd go up 2x and then consolidate. But Amplify's got a lot of really cool stuff going on. Only $2 million market cap, almost completely fully diluted. And I will say the liquidity is not the best, but at the same time, $2 million market cap, I mean, it's got 25% market cap to liquidity ratio. Not too bad. Better than a lot of stuff out there, especially the high caps. But I'm not going to give a super long spiel about it. Honestly, if anyone's interested, feel free to reach out to me in the chat. I'm happy to, you know, do a little deep dive, but I was just reading up on some of their documents. Like, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I would definitely consider going to the website, clicking documentation, and if you got 20 minutes, just read about it. I mean, it is honestly super cool. Definitely, as far as I know, the first of its kind, and locking up your Amplify actually benefits you kind of crazy in the long term. I did some calculations today, and even if it stays, there's basically like 3 or 4 ways I'm earning yield through this right now. I'm earning Amplify rewards, which I don't get until it's unlocked, but it's like 200% APY or something. And then I'm earning Ethereum rewards, which I can claim anytime, and that's Ethereum rewards from Ethereum validators, I believe. So I did some calculations just on those validator rewards, assuming they stay dirt low, assuming the project does not make any traction, it just stays really shite. When my unlock is done, as long as Ethereum is above like $1,300 or something like that, I think I break even on just that. Not even the Amplify rewards, not even the original position, not even the GAMP that I'm going to talk about, not even the Ethereum rewards from trading fees, just on that, as long as Ethereum in 4 years or whatever is above $1,300, which, I mean, I think is possible. And then on top of that, you earn this GAMP token, which gives you a proportion of trading fees through their protocol as well. So you're earning Amplify rewards at 200% APY. Okay, feels good, man. So I can probably make my money back on that, even if Amplify goes down 90% to $3. Probably still break even on that. Could also just break even solely on the Ethereum validator rewards, assuming Ethereum maintains around $1,300 price. And then in addition to that, we get GAMP, which entitles you to trading fees from the protocol. So this token on its own also going to have a lot of value. I'm sure that'll be some good money. And on top of that, this earns you, like I said, the fees from the exchange, like 50% of the fees or something crazy. And even on the really bad months, I mean, this is still bringing in, a couple $100 easily. So by the time my lock is done, I think I calculated it was like $3,000 Ethereum price. So just on its own, the Ethereum fees, if they stay shit, is not going to be enough. But altogether, even if the protocol stays kind of low tier, I think it's going to be a big winner. Now, let alone if this goes from 2 million to 100 million or something, I mean, it's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. So I've gone pretty heavy on this one. I mean, at the time, it wasn't that heavy back in August, but that was when, like, August is right when I went into XCal too, and then right after that, I took a lot of cash out. So the stuff I did buy and lock up went from being not that much in my portfolio to a lot. So now it's kind of a big position for me. So I'm pretty excited to see how it plays out. And there's other things we can do too. Like if this really goes crazy, gets up to $100 million market cap plus, I'm sure it'll get launched on Binance and other exchanges like that. And so I can probably hedge on the perp side if things start to get really crazy again. But I'm honestly expecting this long term to be a $100 million plus project, right? If the team keeps up with what they're saying, and these guys got a lot planned too. They got a massive roadmap. I mean, I've never seen a roadmap. Oh, where is it? What? Oh my gosh, they have an actual roadmap. I don't know where it is, but it's really long. It goes to like 2028 or something. Like these guys are really planning ahead, so I'm pretty confident in them in their long-term vision. But anyways, I said I wouldn't go on a big spiel about it, and of course I did because I'm pretty excited about it. But not only is the project good, but it's also basically doing the same setup everything else is doing, right? It was making new lows. Now it's back up to local highs. I wouldn't be surprised to see it pop right through anytime soon. So good project. Same for Revest. Similar to Amplify in that it's kind of, as far as I know, the first of its kind with I think this is like the fractional NFTs or some shit. I can't remember the details of it. I researched it once. I spent a day on it like a year ago or something, and I knew I really liked it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you can like wrap tokens and NFTs or something and trade them around. I don't know. It's a really good idea for sure. And so I sold mine, I think in here somewhere. I was feeling good, like, oh, it's up 100% from the lows. Take some profits, right? But in reality, I actually really like this bag, and I don't know why I puked it at $3 million market cap. Just making a bad emotional decision for sure. So I'm looking to reaccumulate this for sure. If I gotta buy 5 cents on a tiny dump, I'm gonna do it, right? Like I want to get a little bag of this as soon as possible, even just a few $1,000s. Like I don't know. I feel like this could definitely be one that does a full recovery in this next market cycle. Kind of like we had from, oh, it's not Lind. What am I doing? From Aave, right? A lot of coins from previous cycles did not do this, right? Like a lot of coins that were doing really shitty last cycle just made lower highs into this cycle. I mean, you can find countless ones, coins that reached $10 last cycle but had no hype this past cycle. They reached half that and half that the next cycle, and then the next cycle to reach half that. They're just never going to go that high again. But so to have something go so far down and all the way back, basically, I mean, it's just a V bottom all the way to new highs and still be up there after all this time. I mean, that is ridiculous. And I think that's something that Revest could actually do. Okay, so, and I mean, even new highs for this is like $40 million market cap. It's not even that crazy. So, I definitely won't do a deep dive in this video on Revest because I kind of got to relearn myself a little bit, but I do remember it's good tech. I like the guys behind it too. I think they know what they're doing. So this is what I'm looking to bid soon. Amplify, I'm already happy with my position. I don't think I'm going to add to this one unless we get down to like the teens, just to bring my average down a little bit. But Revest, I'm definitely looking to accumulate. If we get any kind of pullback here, right? If Bitcoin rips to 25K and then we nuke a bit, I'm going to try and ape this, right? And then I'm really only going to put in when I'm willing to lose to zero. But, if you wanted to play it that way, your risk is like 60% to the last high or low. So I would only invest what you're willing to lose to zero if you're into this kind of project. But, yeah, those are my favorite projects right now, guys, on the DEX side of things. Amplify, Revest, then the Arbitrum stuff, GMX, Dopex, RDPX, Jones, Plutus, DAO, Hamachi, Grail, all that good stuff. And then as far as on centralized exchanges, Optimism, Matic, Lido looks all right, Avax looks good, Atom looks good, DYDX looks good, stuff like that. All right. So I've ended up making this video almost an hour, just babbling a lot of the time, but it's good stuff, right? This is good stuff. So if you guys have any questions about all this, I know I went around and around and around a few times, so maybe it was hard to follow, but if you guys are curious about my game plan or how I came to these conclusions or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me in the chat anytime. I'm around pretty much 24/7. And then live stream this Sunday, 3 p.m. Don't miss it, y'all. Live streams are going to be popping off again. Now that we're starting to see some action, no more of this crap, right? Nothing to talk about during that. Now we actually have stuff to talk about. You're not going to want to miss streams. But I'll take my farewell now. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys in the chat. Peace.